Oh shoot, guys, I think I missed it. Hi everybody. Welcome to the stream. One moment. I think we should just go ahead and go live over on the TikTok platform. Just FYI, we're multi-streaming everywhere. Well, not everywhere. It's just YouTube, Twitch, and then TikTok in just a little bit. But I just want to let y'all know before I go silent about Twitch and YouTube. So, just give me a moment. Okay. Give me a second. I'm a little off the dot here, but Happy New Year for West Coast or East Coast. I'm West Coast. We're not quite there yet. But yes, hello everybody. And Happy New Year to those who've already passed on to the new year without us. We're catching up. Just give us some time. Just give us some solid time. I don't know what I was gonna say with all that. Do I need to move? I have to move like a little bit. Relax. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay. So we're live everywhere. Hello, everybody. And yeah, it's the New Year's countdown stream. So we're kind of making this a little bit of like a habit, a little bit of a ritual, if you will, something that we do every year now. Effective ASAP, because I was like, you know what? It's just nice. It's just nice to kind of go through things like that. You know what I'm missing? What I'm missing? I need to get the chat over on the red platform. Right now, it's just the monkey with the wrench. I think the hammer. And he's like, uh oh, what's going on? Something happened. Something went wrong, and I'm like, well, I'll tell you what's wrong right now. I don't see chat right now. Shush, shush, shush. I just need to actually pop out the chat over on this little URL here, and then we're good to go. Okay. Eh. So much work. So much work. But it's tolerable, you know? It was mainly just trying to make the thumbnail, and I just wanted to do something that was a little funny, like a little meme. And then just call it a day, you know? How I usually will run through like a lot of my thumbnails. If it's something that's like, if it's about telling you guys about something, I mean, there's like different types of thumbnails out there, right? There are like the definite eye-catching ones where it's like we're trying to point you towards something that we want you guys to know about in relation to like what we're talking about. And then there's just like, let's just make memes. So I went that path because there's not really anything I would want everyone to just be eye-catching with this and then be like, oh, let's click it. Because like it's just gonna be a really chill stream, I'm not gonna lie to you. But yes, guys. So again, Happy New Year to everybody who is already gone past to 2026. And we're over here still waiting for our countdown over here. It's 9:04 right now, so it's gonna be a little bit before, you know, 2026 is upon us. I already heard a little bit of fireworks here and there in the back. I was like, oh, all right. So that's how it goes. Let me go ahead and pull up what I'm pretty much primarily gonna be talking about as far as like the core thing. And then after that, it's just gonna be like, I don't know what else we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna hope that we can bide our time. Let me see. I need to pull up my little game catalog. I have this whole spreadsheet over on Google, and it pretty much has the not the entire catalog, but a decent catalog of the games I picked up from like Xbox One era, maybe even 360, all the way to Switch 2. So the goal here is to kind of share you guys like my little journey, that things that I haven't really like shown like on stream whatsoever on any of the platforms. Well, actually, yeah, there's just a couple of games out there. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about them because it's another way for me to kind of reflect back on everything. And, you know, without it, I feel personally that I just simply forget a lot. I don't really sit down and write things in a journal entry. I probably should, right? That'd be a nice thing to do. But otherwise, you know, I sit down here and there and I go on stream and I just talk about things that like interest me, play games I'm interested in. But you know, there's a lot of things that go on in life, and I just typically forget a lot about it. So whatever I can like just kind of capture and what I kind of write down, that feels pretty important to me, especially when I could actually organize it in a spreadsheet form. So take a look, guys. Well, actually, maybe not take a look. It's kind of messy over here on the spreadsheets, but that 12 games? Yeah, that's 12. I played through and actually cleared, well, so-and-so. I played a decent amount of 12 games. How about that? From what I finished off in like January to things that I have kind of like played a decent amount, and I'd be willing to say that, yeah, you know, I got a good gist of this game. I think I can actually sit down and like actually maybe like place it on like a top 10, top 13 type situation. It's gonna be top 10. Having said that though, I don't have this all listed out like chronologically of like the games I like the most to the games I like the least. It's just chronologically speaking, just on the date that I finished them. And I'm actually really surprised because a fair amount of these games I had cleared in October, November, and December. Well, mainly October for some reason. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I can see why some are like existing here. So yeah, guys, I guess I'll just go ahead and sit down. Let me talk about it. And please, if you guys are sitting down watching this right now and you feel kind of inspired to talk about the games that you have been playing in 2025, regardless of how many you played or finished, it's just kind of nice to hear people's thoughts about what's been something that they have been just kind of picking up, especially, but you know, everyone's included, but especially those who play like an older game, you know? And regardless of how old it is, it's just something that's so interesting to like piece, because it just kind of tells you a little bit about that person in some form of way, you know? Josie, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So guys, I gotta start this off. The only game that was like something I would play on PC, it's the only one, because literally the other way I would play this is probably on the Vita, right? Or a PSP. I don't got that. The game that actually made it into 2025 finished is The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the Third, part of a pseudo old RPG series, and one that I had started quite a while back, I'm not gonna lie. If we're talking about like the Sky series, it is essentially the first trilogy that people these days will recommend heavily if you want to jump into the Legend of Heroes like series, and there's a lot of them. So they will tell you, go with Trails in the Sky FC, stands for first chapter, or you can go with like the remake that came out actually this year. That isn't on my list. There was a lot. There was a lot going on. But thankfully, I was able to clear through the first trilogy in a way that was kind of like original, or, you know, how it was originally like released, you know? Except for the fact that I did play it on PC. But at least we got that. It's the perfect way to pick up on a game that you otherwise would not have been able to have access to. Thank you. I will tell you, it's not like my favorite of like the three. I think Trails in the Sky SC, second chapter, I think that's the GOAT. I think that's just, it's fantastic in the story. You're already committed with the characters, and it's about revisiting places, but you're at a higher level. And now you're dealing with a much more mature, like Estelle, maybe not more mature, but like a lot more intelligent Estelle. So it's a lot more like she's dialed in, and she feels a lot more reliable than she is in like FC in that first chapter, just in a character's perspective. Her strength is still there, you know. But it was FC, or second chapter was fantastic. First chapter was really, really good. Third chapter is probably kind of the weakest link, but it's not because, I mean, there's a couple reasons for that, but I would also say it's still better than most. I think that's the best thing I can bear, like I can describe things now. thanks to Phil. The way he describes things is that like a lot of these games that he's playing, well, some of them aren't like great, but they're better than most other games, you know? So, having said that though, Trails in Sky the Third, better than most other games, sure. It's not the best out of the 3 here. So I'd probably rank it like SC first, FC second, and then the third. But I will appreciate the fact that just like SC, the story for the third literally does not even bother trying to like recap you on things. It will just jump straight into it. And it's perfect if you're just marathoning through the series. If you're taking a quick break, not too bad. If you take a long break, it's kind of, well, I hope the best for you. Combat, though, is really nice. It is essentially, for now, what I've seen, is kind of like taking all the experience that you've learned from the other 2 games and just making it a little bit more accessible. It feels like you have a lot more of a power fantasy going on because of how high level you are. The courts that you have access to so early on, and then even more later on, that just kind of like help fully evolve like the possibilities. Granted, the number of like different arts and everything is still kind of limited, and they definitely adjust that here and there because of like how the game scales, like the levels and everything like that. But it's still really, really nice to have like super strong dudes and they're just firing crazy stuff. And if you're playing this consecutively and your file carries over with each of those, that was a really nice plus. It's really nice to see like them actually continue to grow. So there we go, Trails in Sky the Third. I finished this game on the 29th of January of this year. This other game here, didn't this game came out actually this year? God, it's Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Obviously there was an older version of the game like on the Wii way back when. This is the release on the Switch, actually. That it's one of the last Nintendo Switch games that we had known about in like 2024, knowing that 2025 was going to be Nintendo Switch 2. So this was like, okay, well now they're just kind of rolling out all the remakes that they could possibly like churn out. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm something of a platformer guy. I know I don't really like play these games on like any of the platforms, TikTok, the red platform, purple platform, as I have to say. But you know, I am actually like a pretty big platformer guy. 3D, 2D, it's still like part of my jam. And I mean, like my top game for 2024 was Astrobot. I'm pretty sure it was just so much fun. But Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is pretty solid, all things considered. I'd have to like kind of revisit everything just to get a better feel for things, but the game had challenged me in different ways. It introduced me to different levels and different aesthetics, and I think even with everything kind of like up-res and everything, I believe the art style itself really holds up. It's a pretty straightforward platformer otherwise, and doesn't feel like too crazy complicated on things. I think the challenging stuff comes at like the very end of things. So yeah, there's not really much else to say about Donkey Kong Country Returns. I just wanted to really play through that and finish that up. So I wrapped that up in March 19th of 2025. Not bad. That was like the first 2025 game that I was like, okay, cool. I'm trying to keep this up because I'd rather just have some things to talk about regarding 2025 games and not just be like, oh, I'm just playing this game from this old era, even though I totally encourage people to, you know, actually play older games regardless of where you're at. I just like to keep up the speed so I can have something to really like discuss about games going forward. But you know, sometimes the best games end up just getting remastered. Speaking of which, we have Tales of Graces F remastered. This was one of the other games. Well, I mean, Trails in Sky the Third was something I actually streamed over on like the purple platform, and this was the follow-up game because I usually will bounce between like the two series, as I've been making this very, very long journey just to clear every single one of them. There's so much. But Tales of Graces F remastered, you know, was kind of a surprise. I wasn't expecting to pick this up in the middle of my little journey through the Tales of series. If I recall, I was going to play through Symphonia. That was PC port of it, and then Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Berseria, and then Tales of Rise. And I started this journey since playing that demo of Tales of Rise in like 2021. So that's how long it's been. But definitely really enjoyed Tales of Graces F. It's just interesting to see the evolution of like the combat and also the voice acting, because that's also like a really interesting thing. You know what? I got into a groove with that one, with the combat and everything. It was during that weird era of them going to like 2D. Symphonia and Vesperia were more like 2D, like action, like RPGs, and then when you get into Zestiria and then Berseria and onwards, it becomes a little bit more 3D-ish. And Tales of Graces F is still kind of like in between of like those, and you can definitely tell just based on, I would say possibly the art style, but also just how the combat plays. It's still pretty solid. Once you understand how things work, you kind of get the hang of it. I've seen some like really crazy like folks doing some crazy high level stuff in like the Tales of series, and I don't have to be at that level per se, but there's some other cool things about the series that you can really cling on to. I particularly like just having ways to like chain combos here and there. I can't do it like the best of them, but I do my best. The only sad thing is that I don't really find myself, at least in Tales of Graces F, I didn't really focus on too many other characters that you have access to. I really just kind of went with the MC, because what ends up happening is that you end up swapping to the main character during story events, because people leave your party just temporarily just to do something, and then you're just stuck with like your main dude, and you're like, oh, what if I like playing this other dude off cam or off story? And it's like they still do it, so you just have to gotta juggle with it. I'm doing a little bit better with that one, but regardless, I played through even the after story of this game, because it actually has like the main story, and then it has like stuff that happens afterwards that you can take it or leave it. I went through it because at that point I was really engaged with the characters, and I think it was pretty solid. It definitely answered some questions of like the little end credits scene for sure. So yeah, guys. Oh man, I even wrote some notes here. Tales of Graces F actually came out in 2012. Ooh. What do you mean I graduated high school at that point? Yeah, I actually wrapped up that game in May 7th, 2025. But it also came out January 16th. So another 2025 game like under my belt. And oddly enough, I wrapped up in like May, so the game that would follow afterward would be actually on the Switch 2. Why do I have the release date on Mario Kart World? But Mario Kart World. So I actually finished all the cups for that one. I believe even the which one calls it, either the Star or Rainbow Cup. I forget which one has Rainbow Road on it. But Mario Kart World, that was, you know what? I had a lot of fun with that one. I loved the charm, the presentation. The mechanics were kind of so-and-so here and there. I think I liked the ingenuity of just having like zero gravity circuits where you can actually really turn things on your head. But understandably, they would have to kind of change things. Otherwise, they would have to try to like continue stacking on like mechanics here and there. I think the whole world mechanic is very interesting, and they really wanted to go balls to the wall with this one. Reinvent tracks to have them interconnected with a whole world that you can actually traverse on, an open world type of thing. I believe I'm not sure if I predicted that. I just know I caught that, and I was like, oh, maybe this is like Forza type of situation. And yeah, it was pretty much like that. I think that it's super fun to just kind of drive around, but I had never really got too attached to World Tour, where I would just go about collecting all the little collectibles for like stamps and like other customizations type of stuff. I was definitely in it for like the cup and just racing with friends, and it's still like a really good time. There definitely been moments where I've been going over to Phil's place and he would just boot up Mario Kart, but it was never one of those things where I would just have my own Nintendo Switch too. He has a setup where a lot of people would just share like the screen. And you know, that's good. That's good. I will say that split screen does eventually like cut down to like 30 frames depending. I think it's with like 4 players. It's not bad, but you know, just keep that in mind. And yeah, it's otherwise Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart, so still a good time. But yeah, I said here that I finished Mario Kart World in July, so like about like a month afterwards. After the Switch 2's launch, Mario Kart World's launch. The other game, or at least the next game here, that I have written down is Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. So yeah, guys, I'm going back and forth between like the different like series. Tales of, Legend of Heroes, Trails of, such and such. Well, this is Trails from Zero, and it's like the 4th game that people will just... 4th game chronologically speaking of this little series. I say little. And it follows like a new set of characters. Oh, geez. People got disconnected over on the TikTok side. Real quick, it'll reconnect. Don't you worry about that. But Trails from Zero, that one's interesting because it's really contained into like a small town, small city, I should say. And Crossbow, I almost forgot Crossbow's name. I was like, oh. Honestly, and it follows a new cast of characters, although you will see some returning characters show up. Definitely a lot of references because this game is interconnected with all the other ones, so timelines will converge. The entire collective narrative just pushes forward. And considering my experience, I'm glad I actually played through this one like when I did, after playing through Trails in the Sky 1, 2, and 3. So it is, I would definitely recommend it. There are a lot of things that you don't need to know about just to enjoy like Trails from Zero, but having a lot of the contextual stuff like already lined up, especially when it ends the way it does, it's pretty nice. So there you go, Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. This one I finished in August 29th, 2025. I will say one last thing. I was actually really surprised how Trails from Zero ended and how it kind of like built itself up as far as, you know, your team and where they end up as far as like their reputation and like what kind of like conflicts that they get themselves involved with, because it gets to some like kind of crazy high tiers like stake stuff, things that, you know, you had that similar feeling in Trails in the Sky like first, or FC, and then there was SC, and then the third was kind of nuts. I guess that maybe just be how the Legend of Heroes games just be, you know? I have no way to otherwise describe it. Anywhoosies, the next game I have here, and we're almost hitting a halfway point here on my talks on games played in 2025, so we'll have a little natural break on things, but I'm glad I'm able to talk about this one beforehand. It's Donkey Kong Bonanza. I will tell you right now, this will probably, and I haven't even like set up the entire thing, right? What was that, Fluffy Phantom? Thank you. Following, liking the stream, thank you. So I kid you not, even as an RPG enthusiast, just known on like the different channels here, right? And me just being kind of like, oh, well, I'm also like really loving the platformers. This one literally takes the throne on everything. This will probably be, and I haven't even made my top 10 list formally, this is probably number 1, Donkey Kong Bonanza. Because of one simple fact, I just continued to play through this game and I never stopped having fun. And that sounds kind of corny, a little cringy, but it's true. I will literally dock this, I will play this handheld, and just whenever I boot it up or resume play, I just get absorbed in it and I just destroy stuff. I just roll around, I just collect more banana. And it's just like, it's just a really good time. That coupled with, you know, the smoothness of like the gameplay and like the wonderful like art style, it's just so good. It's just crazy good. Ah, dude, like I could gush about it, but I think I don't have the exact like memory to find all the finite things. I definitely loved the idea of like traversing like underground and finding all these different worlds. It kind of reminds me of another show. I would say Made in Abyss, but Made in Abyss was a little darker. I'm not gonna lie, that was much darker. But I like the idea of it. I was just thinking, like, I think there was another series that actually had like underground traversal like that. I think Dungeon Meshi? Was that what it was called? I mean, that's another one. A couple of other dungeon crawlers for sure. But yeah, no, Donkey Kong Bonanza like really takes it. It's fantastic. Like that team that worked on it, they cooked. And this whole time it was just kept a secret. And then just came out. Not launch day of like Switch 2, but a little bit afterwards for sure. I have it here. It's it looks like it released July 17. So there you have it. And then I cleared through Donkey Kong Bonanza October 4th. So it took me a little bit of a time to like actually clear through the game, but it was really good. It was fantastic. There's a little bit of post game stuff going on there, and it pretty much kind of continues the story, but I don't think it's 100% necessary to do that right now. At least for me, I'm telling myself that because I have other things I gotta do as far as completing the other games. So there's that. And that's kind of the halfway point of games played in 2025. It's not a lot so far. The next one I'm going to talk about is it's going to be like a really, dude? Really? But I'm actually going to take a real quick break like right now. So, guys, I will be right back. But just stick around. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back, everybody. Where do we want to be? I feel like, yeah, right there. That's totally fine. Also, I think I found someone who followed through notifications. It's not really showing it over on the live. I think it's something where those who are following live, those will show up. But, you know, shout out to Manic. Regardless. Okay, guys. So, check it out. The next game that I want to talk about that I actually played through in 2025. You're not gonna like it. It's Pokemon Scarlet plus the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero. The whole shebang. But I didn't really play through the DLC. I just kind of like played through until like the end of like the base game, and then that was kind of like my stamp of approval. I played through that game. Kind of a cheap one to throw into the list because I played through Scarlet way back. So playing through Scarlet was kind of, well, I made it easier for myself, I'm not gonna lie. This wasn't like me trying to re-challenge myself. This was me trying to clear through this game as soon as humanly possible so I could, or no, go through the game as much as I can so I can redeem the shiny from the event. Where was it? Well, it's probably in the cases, but there was a shiny distribution going on like with GameStop, and I got lucky enough to have like 2 of these guys. But I think each story and the policies kind of like change depending on like the demand on things. But essentially, the way it played out was that the shiny code distribution would be the alternative legendary of the version that you have like used to redeem that code on. It's otherwise a singular distribution code, and once you plug in that code, depending on the version that you have, you get the other legendary as a shiny. So because I was maining Pokemon Violet, and that was the one I kind of scanned first, I would get Koraidon as the shiny. And then with this new Scarlet file, I would use this other code and then redeem the shiny Miraidon. So that's kind of how I played it out. It was me kind of bum rushing through the first like bit of the game, going to the first Pokemon Center, and that's how I was able to get that started. So, but at that point, I was like, well, I also want to get the other Pokemon that are exclusive version exclusives, and I'm talking about way out into the DLC with the other what was it, Paradox Pokemon, the Entei and Raikou alternatives, and I never got those, and I never completed the Pokedex because of it. So I was like, this might be a good opportunity for me to just do that. I still haven't done it, so I'm definitely procrastinating on that, but it's okay. I guess to be fair, I'm really bad at it because I still have to get like the other mythical Pokemon. Was it Petarant? It's the one that you have to download a code for through Mystery Gift, but that is essentially perpetual throughout the life cycle of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for now, so should be easy to deal with that when I can. But essentially, I went through the main base game. I did not wait and try to train up an original team. I literally just brought in Pokemon that well, it's kind of half and half. Any Pokemon I caught here and there, but there was some Pokemon I would just kind of like just give to the older file through Pokemon Home, and you know, and I guess I had to do that because if it wasn't your original trainer ID, then those Pokemon will not obey you. So I had to literally trade Pokemon like from Scarlet to Home to Violet, raise them up, and then send it back to Home, then to Scarlet, and then I would just kind of bum rush through the entire game. I was actually surprised how locked in I was. I didn't expect myself to have that like level of an attention span. I thought my attention span has been shot, you know, doom scrolling and whatnot, but it's, you know, it was kind of a fun time just kind of going through it. There's definitely some problems with Scarlet as far as I would say, pretty much like the art style. They went with like a hyper realistic, well, not hyper realistic, but they went with a much more realistic art style going forward with the game, and I appreciate what they're trying to do with it, especially the scale of it, but I don't think it was too charming to look at most times, especially considering that it's a ambitious world, and the less things you had popping in and out, I think they would have been better that way, but it was not like the greatest experience. On Switch 2, I think they do a lot better with that, but a lot of that damage is kind of done, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so that's another one down. That was Scarlet, the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero, but I'm talking about the base game, and I cleared through that October 9th. So it was just, I think it was like a week prior to the distribution of the shiny Pokemon. So I was like, let me just do this real quick, and I really like rushed it. It was still otherwise fun, but dog, I will not tell you, it's nowhere near as fun as this other game. And guys, I want you guys to lock in real quick, because this game, I have to tell you, because it's so good. It's one of the Sega classics as far as like IPs. This is Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and it is a 2D platformer action game. It's fantastic. It came out August 28th, 2025. This was during a time where I was playing through games because I just needed to clear through games. And I was like, you know, this came out, I should really just quickly go through this. Otherwise, it will just simply sit on my shelf, and who knows when I'll get back to it. This was a limited run distribution as well, so it took a while, but not too long, I guess. It was kind of around like the same same time frame when it came out, when limited run is kind of notorious, and you know, having a long pre-order thing. Bless them for that, but it takes a long time for them to distribute some things. I mean, the Sonic Cross Shadow Generations one is a prime example of that one, but thankfully I haven't done that for them. But or did I? I think I may have just gotten base game. Yeah, I think I got the base game, and that like showed up pretty soon, like pretty early on. But Shinobi Art of Vengeance is it's phenomenal. It's the combat is not crazy deep, but it's a little bit more evolved than you would ever like imagine this to be as like just a 2D platformer. As you progress through the game, you are able to acquire different upgrades that help you do different like maneuvers and different specials, and it can really be something you can curate to your own like type of play style. So it gets kind of nutty like later on. There's quite a level of like completionist stuff that you can do, but the way it's set up is that it's kind of pseudo Metroidvania, where each stage has like a giant map and different collectibles that you won't really have access to without certain abilities that you'll get like later on. And it kind of depends. You'll know it when you see what the abilities are, but it gives you an incentive to replay through like different stages to get different like upgrades, different costumes. And by the end of everything, once you complete the game, like with all the like items 100%ed, I believe there is like a boss rush mode. So if you're really big on that, and I do like the bosses in this game, it's really good. I didn't clear through boss rush though. The final one always like gave me trouble. So there you have it. It's otherwise, I do not even give it justice, guys. I mean, I didn't even talk about the art style, which is like phenomenal. It's like, there's moments where it feels like it's just like brush paintings, but there's others where it's just like, it just looks super sharp, it's super clean. And then like there's the music is literally phenomenal. So if I sold you yet, and I hope you at least give it a try. I don't know if there's a demo. The demos would help with that, but Shinobi Art of Vengeance, please get that. Also, I finished that in whatchamacallit. Oh, well, oh yeah, okay. So I finished it October 13th. So not bad. Funny enough, there's a little bit of story with this one too. Probably why it's so memorable. I actually only played Shinobi Art of Vengeance with one eye. I see with both, but during October I had a health situation, like a health emergency that was initially not really treated as much as a health emergency as I wanted it to. But thanks to some like folks I got contact to, I was able to get that addressed, and it was something about Central Cirrus, the TLDR version of that. But everything's okay. But I did play through Shinobi Art of Vengeance with one eye. It was crazy. Also, just in case I got mixed up with my dates here, what was it? I've completed Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero August 29th, not September, which is weird. Donkey Kong Bonanza was October 4th. I finished that, even though that came out on the 7th, like a few months afterward, or a few months prior. And then Scarlet was October 9th. And then shortly afterwards was Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It's a short game, so it's definitely digestible. Same as this one too. Pokemon Legends EA. I did my best to clear through this as soon as humanly possible because October, November, December have back-to-back games from like Nintendo's like side of things, and I was like, oh god, I want to play through all these ones, so let me just let me just really focus in on this one. I really like Pokemon Legends ZA. I think some people might not feel that way here and there about it, especially when you compare it to like Pokemon Legends Arceus. I was gonna say Arceus. I was like, wait, which one is it? It's Arceus. So Legends ZA is, I've always said this before, it's a balance between the traditional Pokemon and Pokemon Legends Arceus. It feels very traditional to Pokemon, but also has like a different spin on things as far as like how you engage in battles. My only thing with Legends ZA is that it's not as like profoundly different as the traditional Pokemon formula as I would have imagined. And what I mean by that is that I saw how the trailer played things out and the gameplay, and I imagined that it would be something akin to being able to dodge, kind of like in the anime. It's not quite like that. Yes, you can dodge things by having your Pokemon follow you around in the field, and you just simply run away from like the area that like is, you know, from whether it be a physical attack or just like a little area that is being summoned up preemptively. You can avoid those, but otherwise isn't as like flashy. It isn't as snappy as you wanted to. They made it so you can't really take too much advantage on it because there's such things as iframes, I would say, or delays in your input, stuff like that. Yako, hello. Hello. Thank you for the likes, by the way. But otherwise, like, even though I have like a couple gripes of how even though I'm a little bit disappointed in how I imagine Legends ZA to be, it's still like a really good Pokemon game. I'm just a big fan of the music. Almost all of it. But the ones that really hit, like some of, maybe I shouldn't really say too much, but some endgame stuff, some other trainers who you'll see later on, some remixes here and there. But otherwise, some safe things for me to say, probably just the Wild Zone like theme, as it it's a dynamic theme. I also love like the just initial trainer battle. It's super nice. We mix that in with like a little bit more of the important trainer fights. It's like, oh, it's the same like battle theme, but just like it's remixed differently. That's interesting. But yeah, so I was just talking about Pokemon Legends ZA. One of the games I played through in 2025 this year. There's a couple of games that you might have missed out on. I'll go through the real rundown on them. It's The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the third. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which I'm still shocked came out this year. Tales of Graces F Remastered, also a January game. Mario Kart World, there's that. The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I did play through Pokemon Scarlet. And then Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Please play that game. Please do it. Having said that though, I did really enjoy Legends ZA, even though like I think if I were to actually formally give like a top 10 ranking with all these, it wouldn't be like the highest thing in the world, but like in my heart it's somewhere there. My main thing is I love what Legends Arceus started, which was a little bit more of kind of a much more better way to bond with like the Pokemon on your team. Yeah, Scarlet and Violet did that to an extent, but you weren't as incentivized to do it because later on you would just learn to ride, Miraidon or Koraidon. You would just go fast wherever you went. So your Pokemon wouldn't really keep up unless they're like Rayquaza or something like that. Having said that though, Rayquaza on the open world there is pretty cool in Scarlet and Violet. Sorry, what was it? Oh, the next game I actually finished this year, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. I have blitzed through all these games just so I can, and I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm gonna pat myself on the back on that one because these were games that came out like back to back, and I didn't expect myself with my schedule to kind of give myself time to do it, especially with Age of Imprisonment. But I kind of locked in for some reason. But the offside though, oh, by the way, I finished Legends ZA in October 26th, so kind of shortly after the release. So nice. But yeah, Age of Imprisonment came out alongside Kirby Air Riders, which really sucked because, you know, there's not really much out of Kirby Air Riders that would be like, let me rush through this game real quick. You should definitely take your time on that one. Age of Imprisonment does have like a story going forward. So let me turn it on to like what Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment is. It's essentially kind of like the game set in the midst of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's a spin-off of like with a Musou element, or Musou game as a spin-off for like the Legend of Zelda series. They've done this before in Hyrule Warriors, and they've also done it in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which I was actually really impressed with when it came out. One, considering how low performance the Switch could even handle with all that, it was still like a really engaging kind of, I guess, Musou game, but also like the story was also not too lacking with that one. I think that Age of Imprisonment has like, I think, a better narrative in a loose form way of me saying that than say Tears of the Kingdom, because that's kind of retelling things. And to be fair, Tears of the Kingdom suffers the I would say kind of like a curse of like freedom of movement. So wherever you find yourself in, the story kind of has to kind of follow you, but also not rush ahead, so you don't get confused with the story, if that makes sense. But with Age of Imprisonment, it feels a lot more of a, like a traditional way of like telling the story, because your character's forced to be at the very beginning point and to just kind of go through things. But the way it plays out is that Zelda goes through, you know, the whole beginnings of Tears of the Kingdom. She kind of, well, she warps back into time, and she pretty much finds herself exactly where she was in like memory 1 of her just dropping into the past. And from there, it's about pretty much fleshing out all the characters that you met through the flashbacks from Rauru, from Sonia, but also seeing all the different characters that they have somehow like concocted in this brand new game. So what they set up to do is to make this a canonical series within like that timeline of Age of Imprisonment. And that was gonna be really interesting. I was like, okay, well, why did you make more characters if, you know, if everything's already set in stone? I think they do a decent job with it, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, that kind of sucks, but I get it type of situation. But, you know, that's enough about the story, I would say. I think the gameplay is pretty solid. The focus when it comes to Age of Imprisonment is with the Zonai items. In addition to using, I forget what they were called, like, let me just call them like bond specials or something like that. It's pretty much characters will clash together like within a little animation. They'll be able to combine their like abilities to just do this like cool special ultimate, whatever you would call it. But the key to actually doing very well in the game is actually taking advantage of all of that plus the Zonai items, and that was something I really enjoyed doing, because I think it was just something of like an immediate effect on everything. I would just go through the motions of everything, and you know, if I recall in Age of Calamity, you know, we had like some crazy enemies with like high health bars, and you know, they have shields and everything like that. So the idea is to break their shields so that they take more damage, but it takes forever to get through their shields. But I think it gets solved here in Age of Imprisonment, because you have to deal with weaknesses that the Zonai items can actually help you with. So you'll have like, what was it, some frost enemies, and you just like have a fire spitting thing, and it just completely depletes their thing. So it was kind of like a nice little reward type of way that they built things up. So you would get different enemies, and you would need to figure out like, okay, so what would be most effective with them? They don't outright tell you what are the weaknesses. You just kind of have to like intuitively look at that and just discover different like ways of going about things, and you get rewarded for it. And that was something I really enjoyed. So A lot of the gameplay, though, is admittedly very repetitive after a while. Didn't really bother me because I was kind of just breezing through a lot of it. But I did end up liking some other like side characters to try out, so that joy doesn't go away. But anyway, that was Age of Imprisonment. I actually finished that one at the end of November, so it was November 27th on that one. This is probably the last game. Oh, hold on, I gotta plug my mouse in. It's wireless right now, but need some power back into it. Also, checking my eyes real quick. It's about as normal as it can be. I was like, oh god. My issue is that I don't really blink as often or as naturally as like a regular person, I feel. Because I don't really blink a lot, my eyes get like really dry. So they'll just get red. So I'm like, I gotta force my eyes to blink a lot. But the next game here, kind of the last game I actually like legitimately rolled credits on. Everything else is kind of like so-and-so. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I was happy that I was able to clear through this one. This game came out this month, earlier this month, December 4th to be exact, and it was one of those things where I was skipping like days here and there, and I was like, oh shoot, I don't know what I can do here. Like, am I not going to finish this in time for like top 10 games that we played? And it was like, no, you got time. Christmas break really helped with that. So I just locked in. It took me in-game hours like 15 hours and like 22 minutes or something like that to get through the start and finish of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I had 100% my items, and I was like 97% on scans because I totally missed one. And I was like, I give up. Ridiculous. But we got hard mode unlocked, so maybe if I can go back into that later. But as I say, Metroid Prime 4, it's a great game. Is it the best Metroid Prime game? I can't really even say either. Even though I don't really have that much experience. I've only played through Metroid Prime 2 to completion and played a little bit of Metroid Prime 1. Never played Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, so, you know, my opinion is kind of like further out there. But that is to say, this is still a really good game. I think the weaker points on this is the story and just the overall Soul Valley aspect of things. And that probably echoes what a lot of people have said. The story is interesting, and I do like the characters, but how things kind of like roll out at the tail end of the game is kind of like weird. It's kind of weird. Like, it feels kind of rushed, I would say. Soul Valley is kind of like a little bit more spacious than you ever needed to be. There's things you can explore in Soul Valley, but it's a little too sparse, or it's way too far in between each thing. So it's just riding through a desert, you know, without much incentives to explore out there, aside from like maybe seeing if there's something out there that you can just go and collect. But the problem is that the game is part Metroidvania, to its detriment, where you may find yourself going to the wrong places, especially early on in game, where it requires a certain like upgrade, some kind of weapon to unlock things. And at the beginning of the game, I was actually really annoyed by that. I went to like the worst places to go in Metroid Prime 4. I essentially, once I have access to Soul Valley and was able to use my bike, I just went north. Don't go north, guys. And when you go north, don't go northeast. Go southeast. Go to the volcano. And you'll do fine from there. It's ridiculous, dude. Because I got this false sense of like freedom and movement, where it was actually much more like Zelda Ocarina of Time, Where yeah, there's some open like there's openness to Hyrule Field, but there's actually one place that you really should be going, and really have any business to do. Otherwise, everywhere else, they're gonna just kind of like block you off. So it's much more like that. So with that being said, so long as you go southeast on that Soul Valley map, once you have access to Viola, you're good. I think the controls are really tight. The music's actually pretty good. If anything, it does really set the atmosphere in this one. I also do like the worlds that you go to. There's like 4 or 5 little mini worlds that you'll go with their own little ecosystem and just dynamics. I would probably say that my favorite would be Vault Forge or even the Ice Belt. Ice Belt's interesting. Well, I think Ice Belt and Vault Forge do the exact same things. It's not too much of a spoiler, but essentially you need to get the power running for both of them in order to traverse further and further down to get the thing that you need. I think Vault Forge has like interesting pace in it because it's part just like environmental storytelling, and then there's like a portion where it's just straight up battle, like floor by floor, excuse me. And then there is a little trial that's a little bit different from everything. I won't spoil it, but it's interesting for that. And then Ice Belt, it's like you feel it. I love that one because it tells you like a really deep. Not a deep story, but it tells you like essentially the tragedy of like the Lamon like people, and the revelation of like how it like ends up as you descend further. You're like, oh shoot. And then of course when you bring the power back on, everything comes to light, literally everything. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I really enjoyed those worlds, so like it's still a great game. It's just kind of weird on the story and Soul Valley aspects of things. Also, isn't it time? There's still some other games I want to talk about, but I was gonna say, I think for Mountain Time, I think you guys are coming up on things, right? Or no, Mountain Time, it looks like you guys still have to wait like an hour. Gotcha. I say, is it time for everybody? The plan is to actually stream until like midnight. May have done this a little too soon-ish. The time zone map. Okay. Hold on. Sorry guys, TikTok just like went inactive for a little bit. Okay. Let's see. It's Thursday over there. Well, I guess right now, oh damn Canada. Just look at Canada over there like, oh shoot, they already got it. Well, they're way beyond that now. There's also St. John's too. It's like a little further out. I hadn't even considered that. Huh. Well, actually, you know what? There's Central Time. Oh! From Kansas City. Happy New Year over there! Mountain Time may have to wait just a little bit longer. Same with like our West Coast times there, but not bad, not bad. Not bad, everybody. There's one more game that I'd like to put on this list, even though I haven't like really rolled credits per se, but I made it through the main objective of the game initially, right? So I actually beat this the same day as I beat Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Metroid Prime 4 I beat in actually on Christmas. That's funny. I also played this one and cleared the main objective on Christmas and just kind of put it on the list. It's Hades 2. Hades 2 originally came out September of 2025. September 25 exactly, actually. And then I would get the physical in November. So yeah, something like that. Hades 2 is phenomenal. I love that roguelike. I don't know if I'm like the biggest fan of roguelike games as far as like that being the main like gimmick, but Hades 2 like stands above a lot of those. I love the characters, I love like the story building, the music's fantastic. And it just always scratches that itch and that desire to just do one more run, one more. It took me 50 plus like attempts across the board to even make it to one of my like first objectives. So I actually fought who was it? Kronos. Jesus, it's like it's a time thing. I beat Kronos for the first time like on Christmas Day. And as you would imagine, just like a lot of the Supergiant games, or at least Hades 1, you clear through the main objective, but that's not everything in the world. Because there's a lot more story to like be had, and they actually encourage you to play through more of it. But as far as like putting a stamp on something, I was like, yeah, I played through the main majority of the games. Or, I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but like I played through the main like objective and cleared through that December 25th. So I think we're good. So I think I'm all right. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird ones where it's like I want to continue playing through Hades 2, but I literally told myself stop playing Hades 2 and play through Metroid Prime 4 so you have something to talk about, and then when you're done, then you can jump over to Hades 2. And Hades 2 just came up with something that was crazy difficult for me. It's the equivalent of the, is it RE10? Damn, it is RE10. This is when I would typically like stop stream, but we're gonna push a little bit further out so like midnight actually happens. So yeah, Hades 2 definitely deserves a placement, regardless of like how much I've actually played through it. But it's super addicting, and I feel like I've only scratched the surface of it. That's despite like how tuned in I am with like how the bosses work. Knowing the different combinations that you got going on with this one. So I'm just like, yeah, I get it now. Also, you know, I'll let the lights like go dim for just a little bit. It'll be kind of awkward because you'll still see a light over here. But yeah, no. That's essentially all the games that I played in 2025. To a good amount that I'd be like, okay, I could put it on a placement here. I was gonna say some special mentions going to Kirby Air Riders. As much as I wanted to add it to the list, I did not put much emphasis on this one, but Kirby Air Riders was still a lot of fun. I'll still play through it. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. It sucks too because look what I got from like my little gift exchange. This little Kirby right here. There's a Kirby right there. There's a Kirby over there. There's a Waddle Dee over there. This is so interesting. This brand. And so the gimmick of this little guy is that he'll just kind of sit wherever, right? But it's like, wait, hold on. What if I can have you hold something? Here, take this this PG2. Can you hold this? All right, thanks. And he just holds it. He just holds it. Look at that. He just hugs it, and it's like, oh, this is mine now. It's cute. I appreciate it. I won't have it hold pens for me. It'll just kind of sit here and just watch me as I do whatever. So, you know, I appreciate that gift. I also got the little keychain as well. I don't know where I'm gonna really place this, to be honest, but I mean, maybe I could just like snap it onto like one of the shoulder bags, I guess. Maybe. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. What else do I want to say? I do want to say This was definitely the year of Expedition 33. And Expedition 33, even though I had like the physical like down there, I actually didn't play it. It's not that I wasn't interested. There's just a lot of other games I was just putting priorities on, and I really wanted to support all these physical games and cards, as well as a lot of the Nintendo IPs, because I really like where they come from too. But it is kind of crazy that like Switch 2, this was the year of Switch 2, and you know, for me personally, I've really enjoyed it thus far. I don't have any particular gripes with Switch 2, so I mean, yeah. That's all I can really say. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some games I am looking forward to in 2026 though. I'm really interested in seeing some additional new content that I might be interested in Animal Crossing. I don't think the Switch 2 edition of that is entirely worth it if it's just like the up-res version. I mean, if you're playing on like a bigger screen and whatnot, I guess that'll make a difference for sure. But I kind of wish it would run at a smoother frame rate, but I guess technically speaking, you didn't really need it, so it's kind of weird. But they have additional content coming out for that one. They also have Tomodachi Life. I don't even know how interested I'm actually going to be with that one, but it's like, you know, sure. Same thing with Rhythm Heaven. I've never really played through those games before, but, you know, I'll give those a shot for sure. You know what? I'm curious to see more of what people have in mind for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then later on Rebirth. When will that actually show up on the other consoles too? Well, I guess we'll have to see. I know that Final Fantasy VII itself is going to have like something of like another decade type of anniversary, so there's something to look forward to that. But it seems that Remake is shaping up to be a really solid port, despite like some limitations here and there. I wish that I could run a little bit smoother, but it also, I mean, I played through PlayStation 4's version, and that's a 30 frame lock, so not the biggest deal in the world, I would say. It's just crazy that the game can actually play it, you know? I mean, it is a PlayStation 4 to 5 game, so I guess when you get to the Yuffie stuff, then you'll see how that plays out. That'll be really interesting. That'll be an interesting test. But I'm trying to think, what were some other games that came out or are coming out? Oh yeah, Resident Evil Requiem is going to be really interesting. I mean, they did their wizardry, that Capcom. Now I'm just kind of curious as to what they're going to do with Monster Hunter. Dude, can they... I'm in the camp where, I mean, they got Pragmata working, and that's gonna be interesting too, to see that as like a fully fledged game. So I guess we'll see about that. But as far as Monster Hunter World still is new, and I guess, oh, by the way, shout outs, because I feel so bad that I just kind of dropped Monster Hunter Wilds. Also, did I say World or Wilds? You know, Switch 2 didn't have, or Nintendo Switch or Switch 2 didn't have Monster Hunter World, so that wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world for them to just kind of like release that. But almost, I'm talking about Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds could... Oh, God. You know what? I don't know. I think they can be ambitious about a Monster Hunter Wilds game on Switch 2. It would definitely need to be like a 30 frame type of experience where it might just have to be like a 1080p, 900p, possibly 720 handheld, 900p like docked type situation, unless they could somehow like really up-res things. I mean, that's what the technology is there for, so I don't know. Monster Hunter Rise was really good, but that was actually made specifically for the Switch. By the way, we need a Switch 2 version of that game now. But, you know, once it got out to the consoles, it wasn't really like an issue per se, because, you know, it's pretty much using the Switch too, and then just kind of, I guess, dissecting and doing some like crazy wizardry stuff. But it shouldn't be like anywhere near harder for that versus like Monster Hunter Wilds being as unoptimized, like for PC, for example, but also kind of being in a okay experience with the other platforms. Then to transition over to Switch 2 and see if it can work its magic over there. I'm just trying to imagine. It's like, could they do it? I'm pretty sure they could, but it really depends on like their grit on that. They can do what Persona 3 Reload and that entire dev team has done, and just rush out the game and be like, oh, we'll come out. We just want it out as soon as possible, you know. I don't think that's the best call, but you know, they do them. And I guess to be fair, if you didn't get Persona 3 Reload, now would be kind of a decent time to do it. But the problem is that it's 60 frames docked only. On the handheld, it's still 30 frames. So I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. Also, apologies, guys. I might get like a teensy bit low EP, because you know this is actually around the time where I would go to sleep. Thank goodness we don't have any work tomorrow. Bless it big time. Shoot. Sorry, y'all. I'm starting to see some deals out there. I'm like, oh no. I kinda want it. I kinda want these games, but it's like let's not do that. Not right now. Oh, kind of a little side thing. I'm playing through Zenless Zero right now. Zenless Zone Zero will not make that like listing of like 2025 games. I guess if I made like an award for like best ongoing game, then maybe I would do something like that, but I would be the worst judge, and it would definitely be like a high bias type of like award show on my end. It would be like Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, and honorable mentions Genshin Impact, because I at least like played it for a little bit and I was like, I don't have any more time for it. And then maybe Mario Kart. And then maybe Career Riders. And maybe like Smash Brothers for the fun of it. Oh my god. Let me think. I was talking about games to be released in 2026 that I might be like looking forward to. I might need to actually pull up a list on that one, if I'm gonna be honest with you. 2020 fish, something. 26 games coming out. Maybe a release schedule of sorts. Who has it? GameSpot. Thank you, GameSpot. I appreciate y'all. Okay, so I don't know what Spear is. I don't know what Quarantine Zone is. Oh, Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon. Oh, this is gonna be really tough because jeez, dude. So the Switch 2 is a Switch 2 key card, and I'm kind of saddened by that. I can still get it for Switch, so there's that. But I kind of don't want to do that either. I kind of want to just jump into like the next platform of choice. But I also want the preservation aspect of it, because it's like, but like at the same time, maybe it doesn't really necessarily matter to get digital or game key card for Switch 2 Trails Beyond the Horizon. But I kind of want to follow it on principle, if that makes sense. So I don't know. That's a little thing for me to kind of deal with. Oh, I forgot about this game. So there's this game called Mio, Memories in Orbit. I believe Anais talked about it. It's kind of like a Metroidvania type of thing. I've seen it a while back. I forget where, but it looked really interesting at the time. Having said that, though, I think... Oh, yeah. Highguard. Who could forget Highguard, you know? Guard, dude. What do we know about Highguard? From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall, is this gonna autoplay stuff? I'm on Steam right now. No, we're good. From the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall comes Highguard, a PvP raid shooter where players will ride, fight, and raid as wardens, arcane gunslingers sent to fight for control of a mythical continent. It's definitely interesting to see the horseback mechanics. I don't know what else to say about it though. You know, Apex Legends literally took over. It was insane the movement that they had with that. Apex Legends just like happened, a shadow drop that same day, and people were just playing it like hardcore. It was kind of insane. And now it's kind of, I don't actually know what the landscape is like for Apex Legends right now. All I know is that like the last thing I really thought about was the fact that it came out on Nintendo Switch, and that run like dog doo-doo. That's about it. There's Code Vein coming out in January. That's another one I'm kind of interested in, but I have to play the other Code Vein first. So my yeah. There's Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. I have never played most of the Dragon Quest. Well, I guess to be fair, I never played any of the Dragon Quest games. So I might wait for this to go on sale. If not, that might be an anticipated game for February. Early February, actually. There's Neo 3, but I never played the first two, so... Oh, shoot. Here comes another sports game. Mario Tennis Fever. I got Mario Tennis Aces, and I never really played too much of that. So, yeah. It's not like... there's just other things that happen. Maybe I should just play through Tennis Aces just for the sake of it before this game comes out in February, but Mario Tennis Fever's there. Reanimal, I know that one. East 10 Proud Nordics, that's a crazy one. Otherwise, I would be kind of interested in that. Tales of Berseria Remastered. I'm still playing through Tales of Berseria like on the purple platform right now. Just the base version. Crazy. Oh shoot. And there's Resident Evil Requiem that comes out February. Now mind you, I don't really play the Resident Evil games like that. They're good. I know that they're good. I'm just a soft boy. I don't like my horror games. Now granted, I did play through Resident Evil 5 with my brother as co-op because that was actually fun and it was more action based. And for a little bit I played through Resident Evil 3 remastered, or yeah, Resident Evil 3, the PlayStation like 5 version. And that was definitely more of like a kind of more of a suspense type of game versus it being a horror game. But I guess if you're scared of getting chased by like, you know, Mr. X or whoever it was, I forget the name of it, but there is that. There's definitely that. But what's cool about Resident Evil Requiem is that it's kind of a Logan, how's it going? It's kind of a what they're trying to advertise is that you're gonna play as Grace, and she's gonna be a little bit more like the horror base. Like I'm going to just carefully maneuver around areas and try to run away from like a big old monster or dude. And then Leon's like, forget all that, and he'll grab the chainsaw and do like whimsical like flippy kicks, and maybe not whimsical, but he'll look good doing it. So there's that. Right now I'm just kind of looking, just so FYI, I'm just kind of looking through like games coming out in 2026. Now that we just talked about games from 2025, it's like, what's beyond the horizon? That was a joke from a game that's coming out in January that I will probably be kind of juggling as far as like, do I want to play that? I think it'll probably show up on GOG as far as like a game that I could just like preserve and not take up space over here. I might just do that. What's up? I'm pretty sure we did raids in Scarlet Violet. Oh, I remember. People have been helping out with those. We'll definitely try something tomorrow. So just an FYI, if you got nothing planned. Monster Hunter Stories 3. I need to play through the other two. I have them on Switch, and they're going to run better on Switch too, so that's a good thing. So I gotta do that. Definitely gotta play through Monster Hunter Stories, and Monster Hunter Stories 3 looks fantastic. Just from like a visual standpoint. Oh, you don't have Nintendo Switch Online anymore? Oh, that's the kicker. Sorry to hear about that. But hopefully you can get that soon. Yeah. I'm scared though, because you know, Nintendo Switch Online is the cheapest of all the online like services, aside from just having PC and internet, right? Well, technically you still have to pay for internet, generally speaking, but you use that internet for like a lot of other things, sure. But it's, oh dude. I feared that Nintendo Switch Online. Also, I can turn the lights back on here. And turn the lights on. Yeah, I had. Wow, that makes a huge difference. Look at that. Yeah, it really does. Also, I was just reminded of like that poster from Comic-Con. You don't really see it in focus, but that's I believe that's Chinatown, but with like Zenless Zone Zero characters, and it's done by that guy who does the art for Sea of Stars. It's fantastic. So I think if I get another piece from him, it'd be cool if it was like maybe Hoyo related, or I mean, hell, he does Pokemon illustrations. That'd be amazing. Sorry, that's off topic, but yeah, art perspective, Monster Hunter Stories 3 looks fantastic. I don't know about 007 First Light. I'm not really that interested in it, but I mean, to anyone who's interested, good for y'all, you know. April's Pragmata. Okay, Pragmata. All right, I see you. I have not played the demo of that one, but you know, it's definitely a really interesting Capcom game. So, I mean, sure, by all means. Theros. Oh, I have not played through. I have it, but what was it? That shows how much I know it. I'll just go and click on Theros. It's Housemarque, right. The ones who did the other roguelike, Returnal. There we go. So this is essentially a spiritual successor, and it looks pretty dope. And I've heard some good things about Returnal, so I should definitely play that at some point. The other games include like Phantom Blade Zero, which I'm actually interested in, and as well as Grand Theft Auto 6. That's slate. Well, on GameSpot, it just says it's in November. So I don't actually remember the actual release date, so sorry. Let me see what the other games here. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything for Switch too, though, right? I know of. Oh, you know what? I think Fortune's Weave is coming out next year. It was either that or it was like 2027. I'll actually ask specifically. Nintendo games coming out in 2026. Wow, Nintendo. Crazy. This is actually a posting over on Nintendo's side. Go figure. So yeah, they got Animal Crossing New Horizons Nintendo Switch 2 edition. I just remember they have Mario Brothers Wonder, and they're making like a Switch 2 edition plus something. I'll see it in a little bit. But Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, that's kind of a big thing for them. Even though this game is pretty old now, I mean, it's 2020, but even though that game came out from PlayStation to PC and now it's showing up on all the different platforms in January, it's a pretty big thing for Nintendo because it is Final Fantasy some returning, or like the mainline Final Fantasy games kind of coming back, you know, and not in a compromised form, if you will. They talk about Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, so we have that. Mario Tennis Fever. Yeah, that's what it says. Wow, they're talking about Kiwami 3, Yakuza Kiwami 3 plus, and Dark Tides, excuse me. Followed by Resident Evil Requiem. Oh, how can I forget about Pokopia? I mean, yeah, I kind of forgot about Pokopia, but that's in March. Not bad. I'm kind of interested in that one. That might actually be my like March game, if you will. And then we got Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. That's just a freaky one. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also very intrigued by it. And okay, here's the Wonder Games title: the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup at Bellabelle Park. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. I don't know what to say. And then we have Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. That's kind of like a little bit more of like, that's I wouldn't say an artsy fartsy game, because I feel like that's almost a negative connotation. It's super cute. I love the art style on that one. And then we got Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave in 2026. I'm looking forward to that one. It looks like it really stems from Fire Emblem Three Houses, just based on Sothis showing up there. A couple of like other relics, if you will, just there in the trailer. Hold up. Duskbloods. That's gonna be an interesting one. That's a multiplayer title from, oh my god, why am I blanking on them? From Software, excuse me. Oh, they're even talking about the Orbitals 2026. It's kind of like, that's a co-op like heavy game, but like it looks pretty impressive as far as the art style. I'm curious about how Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is gonna look like. Well, I guess we'll just see beyond that. Otherwise, oh, Dispatch is coming out. Not bad. That's a solid choice. Dispatch on Switch 2? Could you use like mouse mode stuff? If not, like use like your touchpad? Not bad. Dynasty Warriors Origins coming out on Switch 2? Not bad. I'm kind of curious as to how the performance is going to be. It's going to be a real test going forward. I mean, it's always going to be a real test for Switch 2. But to see all these like big titles that you would not expect it to show up on Switch 2 are showing up on Switch 2, Resident Evil Requiem just being one of them. You're kind of, at least for me, I'm cautiously intrigued as like how that's going to play out, because there's going to be a bit of compromise here and there for sure, but like how bad will the compromises be, you know? Because it's one thing to kind of reinvent yourself as like a dev for something specifically for Nintendo Switch 2, but it's also kind of in your best interest to probably make games that are multi-platform. So could it work with Switch 2 without too many compromises? That's interesting. I think you could, but the time it will take, that might be another question. So I guess we'll see on that one, to be honest. Let's see. Oh, you know what? This is coming out in March? Oh, Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. You know what? I played through all 3 games. They're cool. They otherwise are not like the strongest Mega Man games out there, but it's still like a fun, interesting experience. If you really love Mega Man Battle Network, this is kind of just like a kind of a turn on your head as far as that type of combat. But you know, it stands out on its own, I feel personally. I'm also curious about Pokemon Champions. How's that exactly gonna be playing? There's gonna be a lot of sweats though. A lot of sweats. So we'll see. Oh, Deca Police. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's 2026. Not bad. It's kind of a decent lineup so far. I think the only thing that's missing is something. I mean, they got games in January, so that's kind of an interesting like outlook on that. but it's something for everybody. Animal Crossing, they have Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if I want to jump in on that one because I already have. Part of me's like, I shouldn't, but like, what if? What if I did that? Anyway, hold on, guys. I know that people just went on like an ad break. I'm just gonna take a real quick break for myself, but we will be back in just a little bit, so hang tight, everybody. Okay, we're back, everybody. Honestly, goodness, guys, I think we might need to keep our voices down. Folks came back after doing their own celebrations for New Year's, and I think my mom like just went to bed. So the unfortunate thing is that like the room, like my room's across from them, so it's easy for them to actually pick up on like me projecting my voice. So I'm gonna probably speak a little bit more like this, if you guys don't mind. Oh no, guys. I have been I've been on the fence with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know why. Because it's just this, it's the same game that I have on PlayStation 5 now, or even 4 for that matter. But despite that, I'm kind of just interested in just playing that. It's really weird. Also, something I'm just gonna check real quick. What is this? Oh. Some custom designs for 2026. That's funny. That's an Animal Crossing. Oh, they got some limited time stuff going on here with Donkey Kong Bonanza and Metroid Prime as well. Oh, actually, there's a couple missions I should do. There's playing one game per week. That supports online play, and then the backup save stuff, and then also play software that supports online play once per day. Is that once per day plus one per week? I think that type of situation. Okay, I gotcha. I don't know. Part of me kind of wants to play through it or buy it again. It's weird. It doesn't make sense, to be honest. Oh, Hades 2's on sale on the eShop. Not a bad idea. I mean, it's available. It's on. It has sales elsewhere as well, so that's great. I see Resident Evil Requiem and then Pokopia. I am curious about Pokopia. I know that's not like, it's not the craziest thing in the world, but I'm also kind of down for it. There's actually a subsection here, if you can believe it, of just enhanced games for Nintendo Switch 2. So we got Splatoon 3, Echoes of Wisdom, which actually has a sale on. That's actually kind of worth it. I loved Echoes of Wisdom. To be fair though, I like a lot of Zelda games. Let me see. I should probably have set the autoplay to off when doing this. Oh, Odyssey's really good. You know, the games aren't ever really on sale unless it's just one of those things. 2027, really. They even noted for that. I guess all the better for them, right? But if you've never played the other games here, it's kind of worth it. Especially when they have like Switch 2 upgrades to them. Hey, but Silksong though? Silksong is... What's the sale for? It's $16. Okay. I actually got this through GOG, so... Oh, but you know what? I just reminded myself and made myself like really sad about it. I didn't get a chance to play through Silksong at all. I mean, I started up, but it's nowhere near the amount that it would take to actually clear through the game. So I should definitely devote myself maybe to playing it like this upcoming weekend. There's a couple of games though. There are a couple games like that one. I feel bad that I didn't play through Octopath like Traveler Zero, but that's like, I know that's a very long game too, so there's that. Is Bonanza's DLC? It's $20. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Nintendo Classics. Oh, they have things for Lego as well? Interesting. Don't mind if I just check this out. Voyagers is interesting. I heard that Lego Party is really good. Interesting enough. But oh god, that's a lot of red. It's assaulting my eyes actually. I do like GBA classics for sure. You know, I do like Forgotten Land. The upgrade pack is $20, so I might be better off just doing that. But I also kind of wanted like a physical, you know? Even though that hurts. That hurts a lot. Okay, so Cyberpunk is $40. That's actually not bad. But yeah, I was taking a look at Pokopia. It's definitely not going to be your average experience. It's definitely going to feel like, what was it, Dragon Quest Builders? So there's that. I've never played Dragon Quest Builders though, but if it plays similar to how, or at least the idea of like a island simulator type of thing, I think I can probably get down with it. Especially if I get to see the buddy Bulbasaur over there. I'm totally down for it. Otherwise, there's some interesting things to expect from Pokemon this, well, next year, I would say. From Pokemon Champions to Gen 10 Pokemon, which will probably be just kind of like a teaser, and they may not be ready for it. That's fine too. How much is the upgrade pack for isn't it $5? Oh, it is $5. I could just jump in like that. I mean, yeah, $5 is kind of just whatever money, to be honest with you. So maybe not the worst idea. Oh, I should probably get a physical copy of Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I think that's ready for pre-order. And it'd be kind of cool to get like a copy of like Red Dead Redemption, and then just get like the free update to it. That'd be kind of crazy. But yeah, sorry about that. I was just kind of curious about like checking the eShop. There's a lot of games, to be honest with you. It's high key pretty overwhelming. You know, there's still a couple of games I haven't even finished, like Bakeru, which runs phenomenally on Switch 2. Even if it doesn't have like an upgrade to it, it's just forcing like the 60 frames to go through. So I'm grateful for that one. But it is a good feel game. The issue with the good feel games, it takes forever to play through those. Well, at least to complete it anyway. I don't know. Where do we even get the time? Where do we have the time for all of it, you know? Dude. Sorry, y'all. I'm over here and I'm like, man, maybe I should have like started later or something like that. So I'd have like maybe like 2 hours at least for streaming, and you know, we have like an extra hour to go beyond this. So I'm like, oh god, I think I'm getting exhausted, guys. I'm so used to my sleeping schedule to a point where I don't know if I can really like stay up, but I do want to at least like stay up until like the countdown, and I can just knock out. I can just knock out beyond that. That's how I personally feel anyway. Can we do some more, maybe some predictions for like 2026 as far as things that we're looking forward to? That was an interesting one. That's always a loaded question because I usually will go through the IPs. So with Nintendo's side, you know the Mario movie's coming out, right? So thing is that Mario has so many games, and that because of the success of probably the success of Super Mario Galaxy movie, then Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 will probably get quite a bit of sales from that one. They might even run a sale, who knows? But they also are running Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, and that might be the pervading type of thing that you're going to see in 2026. You're going to just see a lot of Nintendo Switch 1s getting like free updates, and others just receiving a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, which would be like an additional couple bucks here and there. Might be available physical, otherwise it'll just be like a download pack. And I'm otherwise kind of okay with that, because it is still a really good library, and it gives people an incentive to just kind of jump back into those games or just try them out when they haven't before. So I'm pretty down with that, but I'm also wanting them to release some other new games as well. Something that is something that we legitimately be cooking for the Switch 2, like the Duskbloods, or you know, I guess Pokopia is technically one of those, but they just came out with like the new platformer for Mario. 3D platform, maybe? Are we ready for like a 3D Mario game? That's tough to say. Odyssey was spectacular, and it still is really good, but like, how do you outdo? I mean, they kind of had an idea with Bowser's Fury. That wasn't like the worst idea. Well, it was actually really good, but where do you go from there? And the problem is that the Odyssey team had been working on Donkey Kong Bonanza, and that's fantastic. So like, is this just a momentary thing where like you can now take elements from like Bonanza, you can take elements from Odyssey, and now you can really reinvent stuff? Maybe. It's tough to say. And honestly, guys, I'm at a point where like maybe there's just way too many games. Maybe there really is too many games. Maybe we should just slow down for a bit and maybe just enjoy the things that we have existing and just be big fans of that. Perhaps. Oh my god. What the hell is this? Sorry, y'all. I just had an interest in checking out Nintendo today because it just had like an interesting little thing that popped up in front. I was not expecting a 17-minute video about Nintendo's like Nintendo Museum in the archives. I do want to check that out actually. Oh, this lights display in Japan? Oh, why don't... Hold on, I'm getting a little heated here. Like, why don't we have that? Why don't we get that same love over here? I haven't even been to a Nintendo store. That should be my 2020 like 6 plan. I need to go to a Nintendo like store, any of them. And what I mean by any of them, I really just mean like either like, you know, San Francisco, or we can just go to like New York. Bro, we need to... Why? I'm upset. I'm upset. Actually, there's some cute stuff that are showing up here for Nintendo today. I should probably check it out, but especially that video. I'm just curious about that. Oh man, hold on. I'm upset. I got things I gotta do in 2026 as well. Okay, so all right. I know how to pass the time, guys. So if you guys were here on Monday, we were talking about 2026 goals and what's the other thing, resolutions. And I've come up with a couple things, but they were kind of just general things as far as like social goals, streaming goals, health goals, money goals, doom scrolling, which hopefully I can nip that in the butt, right? Other gaming things, trying new things might be a thing. I'm gonna put it down here. Nintendo store visit. Either one. Yeah, pretty much. Either one. That's gonna be tough. Let me see. Is there... Guys, feel free to like chime in. Is there something you'd like to do in 2026? Or somewhere you want to go? I have some things in mind. Food's always a... Shit. Checkbox like food places. I have a separate list of places I want to go and check out food at, but I've never given myself an excuse to just go out there and just get it, you know? Tough. It's rough out there. The Nintendo store? Yes, the Nintendo store. I wonder if I can make some like interesting content about that too. Maybe not like entertaining content, but maybe just like some fun things so I can make it into shorts or something like that. It would be kind of cool if I can go live stream, maybe not all the platforms in the world because that'd be absolutely crazy. I'd probably say maybe one platform, and I just do like a live stream of me just like playing something. You know, I got inspired. They're I believe they're still out there, like probably some like content creators out there who just like do live streams of them like out in the wilderness and they're just playing games, like some retro games, and I'm like kind of envious of that one, but I also kind of like the vibe for that. It kind of reminds me of like, what was it, the drummer guy just like playing with his kid like out in the mountains. It was interesting. That was an interesting thing. What I also have here, I need to try out some like movies and like comics and stuff like that. That would be kind of interesting to kind of get into. I mean, hell, I was gonna say, I mean, hell, I could actually go like tomorrow if it's open, and maybe like get like comic copies for like maybe the, was it IDW like Sonic or even like Mega Man, because I'd probably be down with those, to be honest. But it's like, should I? You know, I still go to like Barnes and Noble and actually like read up on like some of these books here and there. I do appreciate just doing that. So maybe I should do something like that. I don't know. A lot of things kind of get in the way of things. I think it's just something where you need to really time things out. What I've learned so far in 2025 is that there will always be a finite amount of time, like within a day. And you don't even have 24 hours to do as you see fit, because a majority of that time is spent sleeping. So it's whatever you have like during your waking hours. It's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to like do my best to like save enough money so I can actually retire early. It was kind of one of the goals in the first place. Was that I would like to give myself like some more time to just spend time with friends and do things I like to do. And that's still kind of a work in progress, but yeah, so with that in mind, how do you really just work things around, and how do you really work to spend a lot of that time? Oh, I don't even know. I think I was just kind of going around the circle with that one. But how do you go about rearranging things so it kind of sees fit and makes it fit for all of you? So that's tough, especially if you're like someone like of a gamer like me too, where it's like, well, you need to play in order to progress, right? But I guess you could say the same thing. You have to go to the place in order to visit it, you know? Which is why I was glad I went to Nintendo. I went to, was it Super Nintendo Land? That's what we call it, right? Or what? I don't remember now. Super Nintendo Land? No, I think it was just simply called Nintendo Land. But that sounds like the name of the game itself. Yeah, it's just that one. So, Universal Super Nintendo World. That's what it's called. That was fun. I like that a lot. We got to eat out over there at like little Toad's Cafe, and to be honest, I think I got like the spicy meatball, and it was spicy indeed. I like that. I think I also got like some desserts here and there. That was not too bad. Trying out the Mario Kart thing was really interesting as an AR experience. I enjoyed that though, but the merch was something else. Oh my god, the merch. Yeah, you just want to go there just so you could buy the merch. Hell, maybe I should just do that. Yeah, like forget a group outing. Why don't I just go to Super Nintendo World and just one day and just buy shit. That's a problem. I need to have like a spending goal as well in place, just so I can enjoy some stuff here and there, but not like go beyond the budget, you know. Money is pretty important to me going forward in 2025 and 2026, so I'll have to consider that. But I did write down the need to go to a Nintendo store as like one of the things I really want to do. I have a couple other things I want to do as well. Um, I would like to go visit friends from like farther than usual places. I keep my ass in like locally, so like so I don't spend money like traveling or anything like that, but there should be some like leniency here and there just to like enjoy stuff like that. Tough to say, but I think it's one of those things where when you get older, things kind of get in the way. Obligations is one of those for sure. And well, it really is just obligations, family. I am in a very good spot where the only concerns that I have is just like within the immediate family, and that's kind of it. And we're doing pretty fine right now, and I'm just super grateful to have that. But I also would like to just kind of go a little further out there, you know. I guess that's my current thing. And what I mean by going out there is just trying different things, trying out different foods, spending more time with people. But that can also be really difficult, you know, considering how busy everyone is. I understand that now. I will speaking of that, relationships, huh? I don't know what this. Now I'm starting to like really think internally about things. I don't know. I'm a single guy. I am totally okay with like where I'm at right now, but I also kind of I think about that too. I won't really go into detail because I feel like that's a little uncomfortable for even me to say. So I'll just kind of like put that off the table and probably think about that internally elsewhere. But I do think about that kind of stuff too. I said that though, positivity outlook. That's a very important thing for me too. I also would love to clear more games. I'm not gonna lie. But right now my goal like for 2026 is just to clear like 10 plus games. That's kind of difficult to do. I also want to make content for like the other respective platforms, but it's tough. I can start conjuring up an idea for like a video right now. But the current project that I'm currently working on is a 6 months later Nintendo Switch 2 type of video, but I believe we're kind of beyond that point now. So it'd have to be something else. It's tough. It is tough. Although I think some lingering things I have in mind. Oh, it's almost 11. We have another hour. Another hour to kill on this. Let me think. I have a couple things here in the room that I need to give as like late gifts for everybody. Just 2 people though. So that's the only lingering thing I have in 2025 aside from like all the other things. You're gonna go ahead and close this. Yeah, I'll go and close this little tab for 2026 games. There's kind of a decent stack going on. I'm actually looking forward to it, but I'm also wondering like, what will I finish? What will I start? What will I finish? Because I think like big name Nintendo Switch 2 titles are gonna be kind of like on the back burner for a little bit. I think we're gonna have kind of a little pocket size of like smaller games. I think that will change probably like around summer, maybe like just the second half of the year. But right now, we're just kind of seeing some smaller things. Yeah, there you have it. Guys. Oh my god. Guys, hold on. I think let's go into ads real quick. We'll be right back. So, hang tight, everybody. Okay, we're back, everybody. So, Loki. I saw this. These are smaller sizes, aren't they? I think there's a bigger size. I think. But there's these like Dragon Ball themed jackets. Not sure if you can see that. The blue jacket. It's kind of sick. I think I've seen like adult sizes for it, but I mean, whoever gives that kid like that outfits, they're getting the drip. It's kind of crazy. That would be nice. You know what would also be nice? If it was already 12. Brother, I'm so tired already. Albeit, I guess it doesn't really help that my schedule is just not. My schedule doesn't exist at midnight unless I'm like hanging out at a friend's house, but at that point I'm probably like overstaying. As in, I'd probably just fall asleep. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. What places are open on the 1st? I like how when it comes to holidays, as much as I have compassion towards people who just have like a day off like on these holidays, I'm always here on the day off wondering if other places are open. In which case I respond to that and I just think, wow, trifling. I don't understand why it's like that. Now hang on everybody. Not me just looking on the map. What's open? What will be open tomorrow? I almost kind of... It's weird, isn't it? Like, when the start of a new year happens, you have like this weird energy about you that wants... I mean, it kind of depends. Some people want to sleep in. I understand that. I respect it. In fact, same. But also, I also kind of want to do something. I don't know what I would be doing, but I just want to get going, you know? I almost like I want to go on a walk out in the neighborhood. Because it just feels symbiotic. Or symbolic. Symbiotic is weird. We call it like that. Symbolic to something. Also, where the hell am I? Sorry, I was looking at my map. I'm like, oh no, this is weird. Where the hell am I? I'm way too out here. I was still looking at like Super Nintendo World, and I was like, okay, well let's calm down on that one. Where else am I going? Oh man, guys, I'm not sure about you, but I've been off caffeine for a little bit, and I mean there's sugar stuff, so I still get like similar like levels of just being like awake, hyper if you will. It's not the same, not without coffee. But I can't have coffee anymore, at least not until I do my like whatchamacallit, my thing, the appointment I got going on here. Actually, yeah, I should probably take a look at that right now. So, okay, so I have my appointment like in the middle of the month, and then like literally the week afterwards would be like my doctor's appointment for that. But I have, I get to see my eye specialist in like 2 weeks. So interesting times, very interesting times to see. Well, rather, I'm just curious to see the progression on like my left eye. It should be good as far as like the fluids just kind of being down. And you know, for those who are kind of new, I have this like thing in my left eye. It's called central serous, and essentially it's just like fluid underneath like the retina that causes like detachment there, and that can ultimately lead to like vision loss if not treated. We got that figured out, but this is gonna be like the second follow-up post, you know, the diagnosis and like the actions done afterwards. So I'm really curious as to seeing like how low the fluids have gone. They have gone down significantly, so that's great. Also, what's going on? From Alien over here. I just found 3 shiny Toxel, a shiny Pikachu, and a shiny Helioptile in the wormholes. That's solid, dude. I need to... That's also... I mean, it's sitting in a weird place where, like, it's not necessarily one of my goals, but I do want to actually, like, play through the rest of the DLC. It's just taken a while. Like, there's... I mean, one could say it's, like, a little bit of padding on Legend ZA, but I still appreciate for what it is. I mean, I like the writing that they got going on in the game, but it does feel like it's taking a while for me to kind of make some traction and some progress, because I think jumping from wormhole to wormhole makes sense if you're just trying to collect things in the Pokedex, but, you know, some people don't complete all the tasks in mind, or rather, it takes way too many, like, points to move up to the next thing. They probably could have done something about that, but I think the idea was that you do a little bit of that, you do some side quests here and there, and it would just kind of help like extend that experience. Right now I'm not too focused on like getting the shinies because I'm still at like level 3s. I'm trying to expand that more. Pretty much just waiting until I can expand like the berry count for making the donuts. And then after that, it's about finding the right berry ingredients, which I know I don't have. Because of course they wouldn't give you everything. Otherwise, I haven't really been doing a lot of shiny hunting like elsewhere. I would like to do that. That's actually a big goal I want to do for 2026. I want to incorporate more community focused ones where we do raid battles. I guess starting tomorrow, to be honest. It'll be tomorrow evening. So stay tuned for that one. But if it isn't like a raid battle type of situation, it could be something as fun as like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go and just do shiny hunting, and whatever I get will just be given out to anybody who's watching. And we'll see if I can like rack up like the highest number of like shinies in like a given stream. And you know, it'll be an interesting challenge with some incentives to stick around, you know. Ooh. It'd have to be some pretty desirables, I guess. I think the favorite shiny I found so far was actually Esper. It's funny, but yeah, Esper, like, that's a really good shiny. It was also a really good shiny. Actually, I don't know. I just kind of brought that up. Yeah, sorry guys. It's getting later than usual. I feel like such an old man. But I now understand that it's not necessarily because of that, it's because, well, yeah, it is also because of that, but it's also because my schedule does not like revolve around like staying up at like 12. It's trying to keep my ass in bed by that time. I guess the only thing I have to really be worried about then is maintaining my sleep schedule, which is really difficult because I do a lot of this in bed all the time. Man, dude. I'm looking at all this like stuff here. Merchandise and whatnot. Mainly from Zenless. And then kind of wishing I had something, but it's God. The problem is that I don't have a lot of space left. I somehow get more. I mean, look at the new edition. Look at that new edition right there. It's cute, but like, holy hell, we're running out. Okay, but now I'm kind of curious now. What is open to what is actually open tomorrow? Like, I just kind of want to do something. Hold on, I'm gonna check something real quick. Points of interest. That's right. Oh my god. I didn't realize how large this was. Oh man, dude. Sheesh. Sorry y'all, I'm just looking at like all these food places I had listed out like a good number of years ago. Well, maybe not a good number of years ago, just a few years ago. Looks like I checked it as of December of last year. From ramen places to like boba places, Korean barbecue, probably some sandwich places here and there. Yogurt, I guess. So interesting. Maybe I can get some recommendations from y'all, you know? Man. You know what's also been a really cool thing was to see, whatchamacallit, art being done in 2025 and people just doing recaps on that one. That's been really cool. All right, sorry about that. I was starting to like just get locked into my phone, and even though this is probably the best apt time to do it, I mean we have like less than 45 minutes, right? You know what? Hold on. I just grabbed my Xbox controller. I haven't been on Xbox in a hot minute, believe it or not. I feel kind of bad about that. Because I do like the console. Like, oh shoot. Sales end at 1/7. Oh, this was... Oh no. I'm exploring deals, everybody. But I like a deal. But also... It's tough. The countdown sale, as they call it. They got Call of Duty over here. They also... Oh, they have Fallout 4 Anniversary. I don't know how I feel about that. If I recall correctly, Fallout 4 Anniversary does something about like mod stuff. I think my cousin was talking about that. There's Arc Raiders. Not bad, not bad. I think I need I think I need Xbox Live to actually make that work. So that's kind of an immediate no-go on my end, I suppose. How much was Death Stranding actually at that point? I think it's oh, $16? That's crazy. Death Stranding director's cut. That's not bad, not bad. You know what? I was gonna say, I wonder if I can gift like somebody like one of the games here. I know Mark wants Final Fantasy 16. He wanted to play that. Buy as a gift. I guess I could do that. I could do it. That's also an Xbox Play Anywhere. That's actually kind of nice. I do kind of subscribe to that one. The idea of just being able to play it across like your different accounts, whether it be PC or Xbox platform, that's actually not a bad idea. Speaking of 2026, I could have sworn that Xbox is going to work on something as far as like a handheld, right? I think they're going to work on a handheld of sorts. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know how I currently fit with or sit with my Xbox. I think personally with me, I just don't really like what they're doing with their first party. Their first parties are no longer really getting like the all-in-one disc type treatment. Instead are kind of just alternate, just going for... Was it keys, codes, in a box? And you know, that might work for some people. I'm just not really like the biggest fan of that. It's kind of the same reasons why I don't really like game key cards. Even though those actually have like game cards in their form, and they might have something, they might be able to bypass other things, I suppose, when it comes to ownership. Because essentially, as long as you have that game key card, then you can download the game like from wherever, regardless of the account. And then there's some other things as far as like lending, but that's a different story. I don't know. It's a tough call over here. But I do like my Xbox for sure. Just I'm also kind of mixed about it these days. Kind of depends on what Xbox wants to do going forward. But if they just kind of keep up doing what they're doing, then you know, I think it'll just kind of be a platform where I'll just try to like make as much use as I can as far as like maybe the back catalog of things I otherwise will never be able to find on other platforms unless through other means, but there is that. And so far, PlayStation is kind of an interesting state as well. I'm concerned as to whether or not they will continue using disc-based stuff, or they're just going to try to like phase that out as they did with the PlayStation 5 Pro. This PlayStation 5 Pro is otherwise diskless unless you buy like an external disc and actually install that in and like get the appropriate drivers and everything like that, and then it'll start reading stuff. So that's kind of tough. I built up quite an impressive, I'm not sure how impressive, but I would say it's an impressive library of like Xbox. PlayStation's down there, you can't really see it. I have been building up that library just for whenever and just being able to like play it whenever. But that's that is tough. Because if Xbox decides to go all digital going forward, then something has to happen to like the disc-based stuff. It'll just be obsolete. And then those who want to stay within that Xbox platform will have to start adapting towards digital only stuff. And that's not really like a bad thing in the immediate like consumption, but later on you gotta wonder like what's gonna happen. But anyway, don't want to make it doom and gloom for 2026. I'm just kind of one rambling, but also just expressing some concerns about it. I wish I had more time though to play through my games. Cause you see, here we got these two. We got the Dragon Quest games that I just recently got, but where's the time to play them, you know? I had to make that time. But I've just been kind of busy with making the content here and there, like I am right now. Otherwise, I guess I would be gaming something, and I guess also maybe chatting it up with other people, I suppose. I think there's just like a lot of give and take. I was watching a podcast, actually, Diary of a CEO, and it was about just goals, because it lines up with like the new year and everything. They were talking about goals, about what you want to add on and what's necessary to like have that. And the issue is that at a certain point you have to understand that you can't continually stack stuff, like as far as like goals and wants and needs. You'll actually eventually have to put stuff down in order to pick more stuff up. So there's a sacrifice involved. But what's the sacrifice exactly? And that's a ever-changing tide. That's an ever-changing battle for each person. I got another thing of water over here. Oh no, I ran out of water. No, I didn't. Guys, what's your thoughts on Owala? The brand right here. Not sponsored or anything. But these water bottles are impressive. They've been kind of been rising from the ashes. Not rising from the ashes, but they've been kind of appearing since kind of the downfall of the Stan Lee cups. I'm kind of curious as to like what styles they have for Owala. This is a very standard one, but my in-law was talking about oh yeah, in-law, yeah, in-law was talking about just how this has been growing in popularity, so much so they actually like went in and got like a deal. Which, I mean, to be fair, that does seem nice. Actually, hold on. No, wait, hold on. Wonder if that deal's still going. Like when you sign up for a membership, you actually like get a free thing. I think that's how it played out. Sales and specials, I think. God, what am I doing? I don't even touch any of these pieces of equipment. What do I stand to stand to like get out of all this? A free water bottle. I might have to actually double check and see if they actually got something going on here. I do like the storage rack thing, but I'm like, for some reason, I'm just kind of like a fiend when it comes to like storage, like stuff. It's really weird. Wait a minute. Sorry, this is a weird thing for me to like be interested in, but what's the SodaStream like machine thing? I guess it's supposed to make sparkling water of sorts. Probably. I'm not sure if I'm really into that, but oh, carbonate stuff, that's what I mean. There we go. There we go. Maybe not. God, what am I looking at this? I guess to be honest, I'm just kind of bored out of my mind. I think I've gone through everything I wanted to talk about as far as like 2025, like reflections, my goals going forward. And I mean, I was looking at my New Year's resolution stuff to see if there's anything I want to refine. It's kind of hard right now. And I mean, yeah, let's look at it right now. So I have like a money management goal about spending. Or sorry, I should look at 2026. So it's about like investing big and spending less. And I think I have a comfortable baseline on like what I want to be okay with. I'll still spend under, but like it'll be the maximum I pay myself weekly. While the rest of like my whatchamacallit, my paycheck will go into like the IRA, it will go into like my individual broker account and everything like that. Just trying to build that up and get that growing so that maybe one day I can actually retire, you know, that'd be great. My appointments, I mean, I'm maintaining my doctor's appointments. That's pretty straightforward, except for my dental appointment. I need to actually follow up with that one, but I'm thinking about like addressing that like in like February. I think February is actually a pretty solid time to just kind of do that. I actually have been doing well at the workout right now. I literally had this idea of doing my part of my workout like during my breaks, so it doesn't like take up some time like after work, where I just go on like my treadmill and just kind of do that for a little bit. Because the treadmill has been like very vital in just like my weight loss journey. So if I want to reach like 190 and like make myself like comfortable in the 180s, then I gotta do that. So yeah, I gotta do that. I think if anything, I would just love to just fully slim down, because my gut is still there. A good amount of it's still there. And it doesn't bother me anymore, but like, I also would like to do something about that. We'll see. I have streaming goals. Isn't that interesting? Oh, but before we do that, some people have just gone on break real quick. Let me just take this opportunity to do a break myself, because I think we totally need to be doing that. So hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back, everybody. We're at the tail end of things. Finally. Lie. I'm getting exhausted. But we're less than 30 minutes until midnight on our time, so I'm excited. I think 2025 had like a lot of stuff going on here, both good and bad. But, you know, all in one package, I don't think I would really take a lot back. I think things just are happening, and that's all we can really do about it, and it just depends on our outlook going forward. Having said that, though, if I recall correctly, this month of January is going to be kind of tough, because if I can be fully transparent with everybody, my uncle had passed away last month. Well, sorry, not last month. Technically this month, until it's January, in which case it would be last month. So that's been kind of it's been kind of rough, and we're gonna have funeral services happening in the middle of the month, so it's of January. So it's definitely an interesting way to start things, you know. And then I have a bunch of my appointments like scheduled up here, so I mean, we'll see how things play out. I am not particularly bothered by like my appointments, except for maybe my doctor's appointment. Hopefully, like, my health is okay. We've had a lot of chocolate revolving around this house, because I bought chocolate for the family. My brother bought chocolate and some like caramel like for the family. I got chocolate from like friends. It's been kind of tough. We've been just trying to like pick at it like little by little, but not like outright just eating everything. Because if I do that, it's gonna be, I'll be going backwards. All of a sudden, like, what used to be like not an issue, I mean, it was super weird, because in 2024 I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and so that was like the turning point in which like we need to reverse this as soon as humanly possible. And the unfortunate thing is that I wasn't able to check in with my doctor like afterwards, because I believe because my health insurance changed. So that means that like I no longer have like that same health plan, so I don't really go to that same doctor without, I guess, paying more, you know. And then, you know, later on I got lazy about it. That was my excuse to just kind of like lean off of that. And then, you know, the eye situation, the central serous condition happened, and I had to actually see my primary in order to get the referral. And that was a huge mess, but we got that resolved pretty quickly. So since then, I've been working out. I've been just trying to adjust my like diet here and there to the best of my ability, and you know, that was kind of it, you know. I didn't really think too much about it. But you know, I feel totally fine. I don't feel like I'm lacking any type of energy, because I think that the issue with diabetes is that you lose that ability, if I recall, to like process like, I guess, sugars correctly. I forget. I'd have to be diagnosed in order to be an expert. I don't have to, but that'd be the result. But I mean, I feel fine. I feel okay right now. So yeah, I'm not too bothered health-wise, but it's definitely something I should definitely follow up with, like now yearly, semi-annually. My teeth seem to be okay, but that's only because I've just been consistent with brushing and flossing, but they can still use like an actual clean up. So there's that. And then, you know, my eyesight stuff, ophthalmologist stuff, it's been pretty solid, but I need to actually check in with like my ophthalmologist to see if I can get like another like set of glasses, you know, for my benefits, since that's part of it. It would be nice to get another set of glasses for sure, but I don't know, it's tough to say. I've been going with like transitionals, so I have these glasses right here. They're called transitionals, but yeah, I have these glasses right here, that's not how I would show it if I'm trying to like. There we go. I have these guys, and I have been doing my very damnedest to just take care of them in the form of just wiping them clean, making sure like, you know, these ends don't get like super greasy from like wearing them. I usually just like wipe them off as soon as possible. I think I've done like a pretty solid job taking care of them, as opposed to my other glasses, which those are gone. They were gone since TwitchCon last year. No one was stealing them, I don't think, but it was just one of those things where I just had it hooked up like on my shirt, or I think my bag at that point, and it must have like just kind of scraped up against something, and I got screwed. I got screwed big time for that. I missed those glasses, but I learned a lot. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm curious about trying to get like contacts. Contacts would be kind of cool, but that price tag would not be. I'd have to, I've always gone back and forth with it. I would love to try to have contacts, but I don't like the idea of spending more money just for them. It makes sense for like frames. There's nothing I can really do about that because like my prescription will always have to be like updated, and then, you know, that's an opportunity to get new frames. And then wearing glasses like whenever I need to is just that's not even an issue. But you know, it is what it is. But like contacts are super cool because like at least I don't have to lug around glasses when it can be inconvenient, like, you know, eating like hot food, like noodles, and like the steam like fogging up your glasses. Like what the oh my god. But like I could just like look, and I'd be able to eat just fine. But also, it would just be one thing I wouldn't lug around, you know? It'd be interesting to see like everything sharper without having something like obscure my lens. I don't know, it's interesting. I have an idea. But in order for me to do that, I have to actually take another exam. Oh wow, it's super cool. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be clear no matter what, but my issue with these glasses too is that they slip off too. That's kind of unfortunate. It is what it is. I hope that they still have the frames I asked for. We'll see. I'll see if I can schedule another like appointment. We'll see. We'll see. What else do I missing? I don't think there's anything else. 1140. I apologize though. This isn't like as eventful as I would have imagined. Granted, I started pretty early and related to when we would actually have like an actual celebration. And by the time that it rolls into midnight, I'm probably just gonna tell you guys I'm gonna just peace out. This is crazy. Sorry guys, I just saw this. A warning saying driver fatigue warning, rest suggested. That's kind of interesting. But okay. Okay. Lamborghini. You know what's also crazy? And do you guys know that free-to-play game? Well, at least I think it's gonna be a free-to-play game. It's called Ananta, and it's kind of like the new, like, free roaming GTA game, right? I'm kind of interested in it, but like I don't really have any high expectations for it. Apparently, this thing is gonna weigh in a lot as far as like the size content on that. But aside from like this gameplay video that we got to see, a trailer of sorts, in September, that's all we got. I'm kind of just curious because the last posting was actually like 15 hours ago about Happy New Year. I mean, they're celebrating, so that makes sense, but we're all kind of like wanting to know a little bit more about it. What else are they saying here? Be careful not to get buried under all the GTA 6 talk. Towards Ananta. Hopefully, I mean, it is, yeah, it is Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, no, it totally is. No, I'm good. I'm looking at everything. Oh no. Oh man, dude. Sorry, I got caught up in it. That's what happens. I'll just like start looking at my phone and I'll start like doom scrolling. That's gonna be one of the hardest habits to break, if not maybe the easiest. But it kind of depends on me, doesn't it? Just kind of depends on me. Oh, wait a minute. No, sorry guys, I had an idea. I wanted to like loop my watch band around like this little Kirby. It has a little like arm like piece where like you can actually like fit like a pencil, a pen, whatever. I was trying to see if my watch band can like loop itself around. That's not happening. That's definitely not happening. I don't know. Sorry, it's kind of uneventful on this side of things. I will tell you guys now, though, that when we roll into Thursday, we'll have a stream in the evening, 7 p.m. Pacific time, probably, and that'll be a Pokemon stream. It'll be one of many this year where I'm gonna really aim for like community-based streams. It's just focused in on that. So I think we can really make use of that, and hopefully I can make some shorts that complement that too. I'm actually looking forward to that, seeing how things can grow, because I feel like there's been some growth on like the Red platform, right? There's been a lot of growth there, but the issue with that in mind is, you know, it is rather small still. But I mean, maybe it's just like small growth, and that's okay. I appreciate that versus just no growth whatsoever, at the very least. Okay, so there's just something I'm really interested in. I think this is where ChatGPT might come in handy, because maybe I'll actually need to start using it a little bit more often this upcoming year. Alright, yeah, let me write this down. Curious to see what they have here in mind. Oh, interesting. They talk about the Dunkin' rewards when you sign up. Talk about Baskin Robbins, free ice cream, free appetizers, Applebee's when you join their club, some frozen custard thing, I guess. You know, the Baskin Robbins Panera bread. Interesting. Market Circle. Oh yeah, that's the birthday thing, isn't it? And let me see all that stuff here. Convenience and delivery fee stuff, free products and stuff like that. I'll have to check in on it. I'm just gonna close that tab for now. Oh man, I'm getting there, guys. 13 minutes left, right? But I'm barely hanging in there. I'm over here like, I want to go to bed now. I'll start the day anew tomorrow. But no, we're waiting for tomorrow, like right now. Let me see what else that I have in mind. Oh, yes. So more streaming goals here involve like more orientated stuff like Mario Kart and Pokemon and Splatoon and Air Riders. I don't know about Splatoon, but I can totally be down with Air Riders and Mario Kart, right? Here's probably one of the more difficult things for me to accomplish is like the social goal to engage more, but also find connections. Oh, you got like some decent amount of sorry, what was it? Sorry, I'm losing myself here. We had some interesting suggestions like go on, such as talking about like shared things like music and hobbies and goals and whatnot. I think those are actually really good icebreakers, really. But also for me, I need to start initiating, be more inviting with people. At least that's what I feel. That's what I want to do. I also have a content and goal type of situation. And it's pretty much just for clips. Clips can be used. So I need to actually, whoa, sorry. Content goal as in making shorts on the Bread platform and also TikTok. Niches are good, but I hate the feeling of off-season posting. And that's something I really would love to deal with. Is that like I post a lot of things Pokemon related on other platforms, but you know, during sessions and things where you know we don't really have Pokemon content like happening. I mean, it happens year round, but it will just be sparse to like this and that and this and that, and people focus on like one particular type of thing, like the mainline series. And you might be missing out on other things, but you might be okay with that. So it's kind of up to you. But I also have a social media goal, which I mean, clips can be used to share like highlights and stuff like that. So I'm entertaining that idea. But I haven't really like fully committed to that. Monthly streamer events. Oh yeah, I need to do that. So January is gonna be interesting. January is a really busy month just on like things to do, but as far as the streams involved, I think we can do like, can we do Animal Crossing? But like, I don't even know about that. It would be something that's kind of like a one-time type of situation. So I guess we'll kind of see with that. I like the music reactions though. Yeah. I don't know if we can make that happen though. Would that be a separate channel? Huh. You know what? I have this person in mind. Let me take a look at their stuff because they got some interesting stuff going on. I forgot the name. There, here we go. Does he have a channel trailer and everything? No. Okay, so that's interesting. So, I mean, I need to like take some samples and see what's going on here. And then I think he has live streams here and there. That's actually going off like the games and whatnot. Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, alright. I mean, it could be something that's like incorporated. Yeah, I can try that. I'm down for listening to like video game music. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Yeah, I'm not sure if, I guess it had to be incorporated, right? Yeah, I guess it would be. And then, oh wow. All right. I might be kind of down for that. Sorry guys, I'm like kind of brainstorming ideas right now. Things, but it's probably like I have like it has to be things to incorporate, right? So that's kind of something I'm trying to do. And then so music reaction to trailers, I suppose, and then Mario Kart equivalent events. Yeah, I was thinking more like monthly events. Oh shoot, I just realized like we have 7 minutes left. Oh, we're getting closer. Oh, we're getting a lot closer. Oh boy. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking that like, okay, so it's kind of tough. What could be the thing that I can do that is just kind of like a fun, it's almost more like fun, you know? And not necessarily for grabbing attention. So it's kind of rough. Sorry guys, that was very vague. But I'm still kind of like working like the kinks out for that one. What's up? Oh, I have a positivity goal though. Better outlook on circumstances, better to manage like with workflow. That's an ongoing problem to deal with. Work today was totally fine. I feel like my energy is relatively positive, but when I feel firm about like what I'm trying to like say, it feels different, doesn't it? You don't feel like you're the nicest person in the world, but you're just being like really firm, and that's not a bad thing. So oh, sorry guys. Let me I think it's time. World clock. Dude, here we go. I got the timer up here. So it's 11:55 right now. We have less than 5 minutes before the new year rolls in. You know what? After like really sitting down and talking about all the things I want to do for 2026, I feel a little bit more hopeful, a little bit more optimistic. And that's to say that yeah, there's gonna be like some that's gonna go through, right? Unfortunately, that's just kind of how like things play out here and there. But I think if you really focus on like some of the key things, if you know exactly what you want to do and you're willing to like commit and work towards those and make those constant like changes, I think you're relatively okay. That's what I think. At least that's how I tell myself. I'll have to check in with my friends and see like how they feel about like the new year. What else is there? But yeah, that's actually part of the positivity goal. So doom scrolling is it's a heavy thing, and I need to stave off of that because that literally kills my productivity a lot. Because I have a bad habit of pulling up things and just scrolling through whenever something just very minor, very inconvenient, something uncomfortable like just like rolls through, and it just gets in my way of like actual like productivity. I see that when I try to make videos. There'll be times where I feel uncomfortable like trying to like figure things out. I don't really have an idea or a plan, and then I just kind of go straight into like going scrolling through my phone as like a disguise to just distract myself or get inspiration. Not the way to go. So I'd like to change that if I can. The gaming goals is to finish 10 plus games. That's really tough. But I do have a large library just sitting right there, so I have no excuses. But it can be kind of difficult too, as far as finding like a game to play. That's oddly the weird thing, you know? Especially when new games are showing up. how do we get through like some of the old stuff, you know? I have one game in mind that I want to actually like play through and like clear. Now that I finished up things, I mean, there's still Hades 2. I kind of don't like the fact that I left that alone, but I also am working towards the DLC for Pokemon. I want to get that done so I can actually start like working towards like shiny hunts and everything like that. I actually have an idea. I got an idea for this one. For whatchamacallit. Looks like we have another ad break. I think we should probably roll into that before anything happens, but I had an idea for Pokemon, and that was actually the music. Anyway, I think we're done for a little bit. Let me just do a quick BRB. Let the ads roll in for the purple platform, and then we'll rejoin, and then that's when we'll have our countdown. Or actually, shoot, we don't have enough time. I think anyone who comes in like around ad times is gonna be really unfortunate for them because we're at the tail end. We can't stop right now. Okay. Alright, chill out. I'm calm. I'm totally calm. You're freaking out. But this is it. Last things to say about 2025. Things happened. Good and bad. But I'm happy I did things the way I did. This was a huge thing as far as like finances were involved. Other crazy stuff happened, but it's given me like a lot of perspective now, and now I have a much more like finer focus on for 2026. So with that in mind, we are going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, everybody. Congratulations. I'm tired. I'm gonna go ahead and log out now. I'm done. Oh, my body can't take this anymore, dude. Oh, God. Hold on. Hold on. We have some other people like in the break, so I'm gonna just give them. I'm gonna do them solid and like stick around for just a little bit longer. Give me a sign. Give me a check. Oh, forgot. So I didn't have anything set up for that. Okay. So we're finally here. Oh, I hear some fireworks in the background. It's very light though, so I was just gonna send a message to everybody, but I think let's just, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna I'm gonna go and call it. Guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. I just want to let everybody know on all the platforms we're going live later today at like 7 p.m. Pacific time. We're gonna do. I guess we're gonna do some more Pokemon raids. Scarlet and Violet. We're talking about Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. I'd like to see if I can like get something of like a duel type of thing going on, but that's gonna be really, really difficult. So just an FYI, we'll have to, yeah, we'll have to see what we can do. But all right, guys, we'll go ahead and call it here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. So yeah, I'm just gonna go one by one and end streams here and there, so take it easy, everybody. And yeah, #bar, everybody.